Hello everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know if you can properly see my screen and can we start today's class? And I hope you guys are doing well. By the way, do let me know how's your weekend going so far. Okay, so I think we can start with today's class. So you already know the drift, right? We basically discuss some important words which we encountered while reading the editorial, and we will also discuss one particular article in great detail. So good afternoon, Aishwarya. How are you? And yeah, that's exactly going to be the strategy for the day. And Aishwarya, I'm doing absolutely fine. How are you? सब कुछ बढ़िया? How are you spending your Saturday? Good afternoon, Nikhil. Hi, Payoja. Hi, Avi. Good afternoon, everyone. So, yes, we are going to learn some new bits about the English language. We are going to learn some new words. We are going to learn some, I would say, new tone words, right? And by the way, I did not really get many answers for the last task of the day. So, have you guys haven't been through the article or what's the case? Avi, I'm absolutely fine. How are you? And Aishwarya, good to hear that. So, yeah, I think it's time for us to dive into today's discussion very seamlessly, right? So, there's some problem here in my PPT. Okay, you guys will have to tolerate that. So, the first word of the day is nullifying. And when I talk about nullifying something, I think ये word तुम लोगों ने probably science में and साथ साथ mathematics में बहुत सुना होगा. One thing nullifies the other. That means, if I talk about this word in legal terms, it means making something null and void. That means making something or rendering something totally useless and considering it as empty. So that is null and void, no longer in use. For example, hopefully the coffee will nullify the drowsy effects. I think you guys might be in the habit क्योंकि तुम लोग बहुत late तक पढ़ाई भी करते होगे. So whenever you feel a little drowsy, what do? We drink coffee because coffee actually makes the क्या बोल सकते हैं जो नींद है हमारी उसको भगा देती है. So it kind of just removes all the drowsy effects of the medication, and it can also help you to stay awake for a longer period of time. Hi Niranjan and good afternoon Drishti. Welcome to the class. So the second word is, by the way, how can we use nullify in our own examples? So when I didn't shop for a month because I thought it would nullify the impact of my previous month shopping, previous month crazy shopping spree. Good afternoon, Gaurav. Hi. So you can use it like that. Nullify का मतलब यही होता है when you render something useless or unimportant. Null and void का मतलब empty ही होता है, zero हो जाता है किसी चीज का effect. So that is nullifying. You can also come up with your own set of examples. I'll definitely love to read it to the class. And moving on to interlude. So every time you go in a movie theater to watch a movie, there is an interlude. And what is an interlude? It's basically an intermission, an interval, or a pause, right? तो जनरली क्या होता है, वी एग्जिटेड द थिएटर ड्यूरिंग द शॉर्ट इंटरल्यूड टू परचेज समथिंग टू ईट. इंटरमिशन में हम जाके कुछ खरीदते हैं खाने के लिए. So that's exactly what is the meaning of the word. Instead of using the word intermission, क्योंकि intermission तो सभी को ही पता है, start using the word interlude. Let me use it in an example. The speaker's brief interlude made everyone confused. Okay, so an interval or a pause which you can see in the form of a speech, which you can see in a movie, which you can see in any activity, as a matter of fact. So interlude का मतलब होता है वही break लेना, interval देना. So that is it. The next one is plebiscite, and plebiscite comes from the word plebeians. So anybody who is aware of the term plebeians, I think it's safe to say that we are all plebeians. अब कोई guess कर सकता है क्या मतलब हो सकता है? Plebeians are common, ordinary people, just like you and I. Obviously, some people might think of themselves as extraordinary, and you should actually think that like that. But I just wanted to explain the meaning of plebeians. And plebiscite is actually a word which is closely related to plebeian. Why? देखो यहाँ पे जब हम उसका मीनिंग पढ़ते हैं तो हमें समझ में आता है कि इट्स अ वोट बाय द पीपल ऑफ अ कंट्री और डिस्ट्रिक्ट टू डिसाइड ऑन एन इशू. तो जब लोगों का जो वोट रहता है उसे काफी वैल्यू दी जाती है. Okay, wherever the government is trying to make a decision about something. So that is plebiscite. Okay, so people's vote. तो इसीलिए common ordinary लोगों का vote. So that is plebiscite. If we keep repeating the same mistake, it will nullify our chances to get an apology. Wow, what an example, Drishti. Absolutely right, and a true life lesson too. अगर हम वही वही रिपीट करते रहेंगे अपनी मिस्टेक्स तो लोगों को भी समझ में आ जाएगा कि ये नो मैटर हाउ मेनी टाइम्स दिस पर्सन आस्क्स फॉर forgiveness, it's totally null and void, right? The law which violates decency and morals are nullified by the society. Hmm. Great example. And let's see how we can use plebiscite in an example. They are going to hold a plebiscite, a vote on the question of national independence. The recent plebiscite by the immediate government made everybody wonder whether they had chosen the right government. Okay? Yes, the mango people, Aishwarya, absolutely right. The plebiscite wanted to know the people's opinions on law and order. That means the vote wanted to know the vote of the ordinary people by the ordinary people. And the reason for that voting was so that people can come up with clear definition of what law and order is according to them. Right? Okay, so let's move to the next one, that is attrition. And today I saw like plenty of nouns. So as you can see, interlude, plebiscite, attrition, तीनों भी nouns ही हैं. Attrition का मतलब होता है when there is a reduction in size, number, strength of something. Okay, for example here, attrition is high among social workers because of the difficult work and poor pay. आप लोगों ने generally देखा होगा people working in NGOs. What do you guys think? Do you think that they get paid plenty? या तुम्हें ऐसा लगता है कि उनकी लिविंग कंडीशंस दे आर मच बेटर देन द नॉर्मल ऑर्डिनरी पीपल? हाय कोमल. Oh, Aishwarya, that's actually a very relatable example. Sometimes we feel like we need to interlude, we need to take interlude from studies. Yes, absolutely great. Attrition is a reduction. और आप बोल सकते हो किसी चीज की क्वांटिटी, नंबर या स्ट्रेंथ डिक्रीज हो रही है, लेसन हो रही है. दैट इज एट्रिशन. I saw a remarkable attrition. अब ये वाला जो एग्जाम्पल है ये बिल्कुल I think it's super relevant to me. I saw a remarkable attrition in my strength as I hit my 30s. Okay, so generally when we hit 30s, अचानक से आपको दुनिया जहाँ के बैक पेन स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं and you feel like you are 80-year-old because of the back pains, neck pains. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. I saw a remarkable attrition in my strength, remarkable reduction in my strength as I hit my 30s. Okay, so you can also use it like something which is diminishing in number, size, or strength. We saw a great deal of attrition in our organization lately. That means many people have been fired. मोनोकॉजल, मोनोकॉजल का मतलब क्या होता है? मोनोकॉज, मोनो इज सिंगल एंड कॉज इज obviously a cause. So it's an adjective, by the way, and it means a single cause. Like you can see it in an example. There is no single linear monocausal relationship between the two, but rather a mutual affecting circuit. What does that mean? इसका मतलब है कि ये जो दो लोग हैं उनके बीच की जो रिलेशनशिप है वो एक सिंगल कॉज पे बेस्ड नहीं है. इट्स एक्चुअली बेस्ड ऑन समथिंग which talks about mutually affecting circuit, यानी कि both of them uh, gets the advantage of the other person. तो इसका मतलब है it's not a single causal relationship. It actually has multiple causes to stay attached to each other. Due to the current war in Israel and Gaza, we have witnessed a huge number of attrition of people, which some countries are stating as genocide. Exactly, Drishti. Another wonderful example. Very good. So let's use monocausal in an example now. The employees monocausal explanation did not convince the investors. Attrition of doubts in a topic reflects our comprehensive understanding. Very good, Komal. Exactly. So that means if you have धीरे धीरे अगर आपके number of doubts कम होते जा रहे हैं इसका मतलब है तुम्हारी understanding बढ़ती जा रही है. Exactly. Now there is attrition in choosing the engineering field because of too many engineers. Yes, recently we have seen people pulling away from being an engineer. Instead, they have started choosing different interesting options. Even law is one of them, right? There are many important issues in the society that requires the plebiscite of the society. Exactly, Avi. Absolutely, perfectly used. Very good. Let's see the next few words. The next one is amalgamates. Again, amalgamation is a very famous word in chemistry. And when we talk about amalgamating something, it is basically a verb and it is used to combine something or merge something. Like you can use it here also. Because of budget cuts, the two schools were amalgamated or the two schools were forced to amalgamate into one building, combine into one building. Okay. The next one is, wait, let me use it in another example. She amalgamated her talent and intelligence to save us from the last minute problem. So, amalgamated is combined, and instead of using the word combining or merging something, I think you have a better, fancier version now. So, start using that more frequently. Okay, and the next one is depravity. So, somebody who kind of exhibits qualities of depravity, इसका मतलब होता है they are morally corrupt. They are not really good people, I would say. They are wicked. What is the meaning of wicked? That means they actually, think of others in an ill sort of manner. So ill will रखना किसी के लिए, being very cruel towards somebody, being wicked या wicked का मतलब होता है वही चालाक, शैतानी, ये सारी चीजें जब आप exhibit करते हो तो that means that exhibits your depravity. Silver, under similar conditions, becomes chloride and likewise amalgamates without difficulty. So I think, Aishwarya, you have used a chemistry example to make everybody understand it in a better way. Very good. Amalgamation of two political parties is frequent in the eve of election. Yes, Komal, I think recently also something similar happened. Payoja's example is our country is an amalgamation of religions and communities. Yes, unity and diversity. Instead, the individual is an amalgamation of desires and forces. That's kind of profound, Samiksha. And good afternoon, Anaira. Welcome to the class. So let's talk about depravity. He was sinking into a life of utter depravity. That means he is basically entering his villain era. How many of you would agree? The depravity that the lady brought with her was depressing. Okay? And the last word, which is doomsday. Doomsday का मतलब होता है, doom का मतलब ही होता है the end. Okay? The final ending, the climax of something. So doomsday is basically a day of final judgment. ऐसा बोला जाता है कि एक दिन जब पूरी दुनिया खत्म हो जाएगी. That will be known as the doomsday, and when people would be put in heaven or hell, depending upon the kind of things that they did while they were alive. So, a day of final judgment or a time of catastrophic destruction and death. That is known as the doomsday. ठीक है? The book explores a doomsday scenario in which an asteroid hit the Earth. Okay? So, obviously, when the asteroid actually hits the Earth will be completely destroyed. Obviously, it will be the day of final judgment or a day of complete destruction. Okay? The doomsday is something that nobody is prepared for. Are you prepared for the doomsday? In today's world, many people are showing a great sign of depravity. Absolutely right, Drishti. Indian politics is sinking into depravity. Again, 100% right, Payoja. Very good example. Let's use doomsday, by the way. Let's see your take on that. Also, I'm taking you to the article of the day. I don't know how many of you have already got the time to read it. And here we are talking about food factor on the latest retail inflation data. I hope you guys know the general meaning of the word inflation because I think editorials are full of articles which are based on economy. So economy में एक बहुत ही famous word है inflation. Can anybody tell me quickly the meaning of the word inflation? किसी को idea है क्या है इसका मीनिंग? आर्टिकल बहुत सिंपल सा है वैसे, इतना कोई डिफिकल्ट नहीं है टू अंडरस्टैंड, बट या they carried the conversation into the depths of depravity. Samiksha sounds pretty saddening. Okay. Showing you the article here. By the way, I've highlighted three words which we have frequently been seeing, and I'm not really going to give you the meanings. I'm just going to ask you the meanings because we have already discussed these three words like plenty of times before. And yes, Drishti, the meaning of the word inflation is when there is a price hike, rise in price. Very good. And even Payoja's definition is correct. Inflation means when the price of goods goes up and wages remain the same. So there is a disparity, exactly, rise in price. And also one more example by Drishti. When doomsday is near, everyone will regret the way they behave. Yes, 100% right. Great people or spiritual people never wait for the doomsday. Right. So यहाँ पे हमने तीन words underline किए and highlight किए हुए हैं. Underscores, volatile and linchpin. Linchpin we have discussed like 2 times before. Underscores भी बहुत commonly देखा जाता है. We have already discussed it before. So I would want to hear from you guys whether you guys remember it or not. The meaning of these three words. Let's also start with the article now. The article बहुत ही simple सा है. From the title itself, I think it's pretty evident. We are talking about the food prices में जो rise आया है and how it is rising rapidly. And whenever there is a price hike when it comes to the essential commodities, it kind of, brings a lot of upheavals with it. क्योंकि जो कॉमन आदमी है, जो नॉर्मल आदमी है, वो अगर नॉर्मल खाना भी नहीं खरीद पा रहा है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली हाउ इज ही गोइंग टू एक्चुअली बाय समथिंग विच इज एक्सपेंसिव? तो वो एक्सपेंसिव वाली चीज तो छोड़ ही दो, नॉर्मल खाना ही इतना महंगा हो गया है कि इट्स एक्चुअली an issue of concern. It's a very concerning issue when it comes to the economic growth of the country. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे वही बात होती है कि actually there are lots and lots of facts and figures here, so I'm not really going to focus on the facts and figures, but I'll just give you the basic idea कि passage में क्या चल रहा है. So despite the government's efforts to control prices, government बहुत कोशिश कर रही है कि somehow, uh, they deal with the price hike, but nothing actually substantial is happening. So particularly when it comes to staple food, आटा, दाल, चावल, ये तो रोजी खाने वाली चीजें हैं. Even onions, potatoes, tomatoes, even their prices are continuing to rise, and they are increasing constantly. Now, the thing is, this is very much a worrying issue for everybody because high food prices can also bring a lot of negativity when it comes to people's ability to buy different things. अगर मैं खाना ही नहीं खरीद पा रही हूँ तो मैं दूसरे एसेंशियल चीजें, फॉर एग्जाम्पल गर्मी में कूलर लगता है, मैं कूलर कैसे खरीदूंगी when the price that I'm paying for tomatoes and potatoes is that high. So the passage also mentions, low crop production. देखो, one of the problems behind this price rise is because the farmers have been struggling because they are not really able to grow crops the way they should. तो जितना quantity में वो expect कर रहे होते हैं, because of climate changes, they are not able to actually bring forth that quantity, and also because of water shortage. So water shortage की वजह से भी ये सारी problems हमें देखने को मिलती है. सो वाटर शॉर्टेज रहेगी तो क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन उतना ज्यादा अबंडेंट नहीं होगा. क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन अगर लेस होगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली प्रोडक्ट्स कम रहेंगे तो प्राइस ज्यादा रहेगा बिकॉज डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. ठीक है. Overall, this entire passage actually talks about and highlights the challenges which are posed by rising food prices and also on the imports, क्योंकि this is going to very badly affect the entire economy. So that's exactly what the gist of the passage is. अगर यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं समझ में आया तो please feel free to ask me. And I think it's very easy and evident to find out the tone of this passage क्योंकि the writer is very much concerned about the issue of price rise. तो कोई मुझे बता सकता है कि what could be the tone of this passage? So volatile is Komal. Actually, volatile means something which is unstable. अंडरस्कोर का बिल्कुल सही बताया पयोजा. अंडरलाइनिंग द एम्फेसिस और पुटिंग सम एम्फेसिस ऑन समथिंग, दैट मीन्स यू आर हाईलाइटिंग एन important detail. Linchpin is the person or thing which is important in an organization. Very good, Komal. You remember it from our previous class also. Underlining something is underscoring. Exactly, Samiksha. Synonymous with cornerstone and volatile means rapid, fast changing. And again, something which is unpredictable, uncertain. So the tone is concerning, alarming, absolutely right. बिल्कुल सही. And also, what's the meaning of the word potent? यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है that trailing both the 10-year average and the year earlier levels also does not portend well for summer sown crops. So summer में भी जो crops मतलब हम लोगों ने sow किए हुए हैं, उससे भी हमें अभी जो current condition of water है, which is obviously water shortage, so it does not really look good for our summer sown crops. So potent actually means something which is related to prediction. Okay, future prediction की अगर हम बात करते हैं, like foreshadowing something or something being a sign of something. So it does not look like a good sign for our summer sown crops क्योंकि there is a shortage of water. It's a sign of warning. Exactly. So portent is a sign of warning or when we foreshadow something or we foretell something. Discontent is obviously content का मतलब होता है when you feel happy and satisfied. Discontent is when you feel unhappy and dissatisfied. Yes. So you guys have guessed it absolutely right. Very good, Drishti, Payoja. बिल्कुल सही. So let's talk about the main idea of the passage. क्या है main idea? Main idea तो यही है कि the issue of the recent price hike is alarming. Despite government's efforts, lack of contentment, yes, exactly. Despite government's constant efforts to bring down the prices. Problems such as shortage of water and low crop production has only added to the challenges. Right? Anything else that comes to the mind? The inflation will definitely take a toll on the purchasing power of the people, as the commonplace commodities have gone really high when it comes to prices. So, yes, difficulties for the common man is increasing and impacting the everyday necessities. But you need to mention the issue, Payoja. You have missed that inflation. So, add that. Okay. Tone is obviously concerning. The writer is very concerned. He's alarmed, right? And pardon my bad handwriting, pardon my French, actually. That's how it seems like. Okay, so moving to the quiz of the day. Homecoming on the TDP's return to the NDA. So you guys, I think अभी हम लोगों ने शायद दृष्टि ने ये एग्जाम्पल दिया था कि जब इलेक्शंस पास आते हैं तो बहुत सारी जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज होती है दे काइंड ऑफ अमालगमेट इज कंबाइन फोर्सेस, राइट? तो यहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं हमें वही कहानी सामने आती है, दिखती है. एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द भारतीय जनता पार्टी and how it has made a significant move by amalgamating or reuniting with the Telugu Desam Party. TDP stands for Telugu Desam Party, and obviously its former ally कौन है भाई? N Chandrababu Naidu. तो उनसे obviously they have joined forces here, and also we get to know that despite performing poorly in the previous elections, the BJP has actually managed to regain political strength somehow. So by actually forming this alliance, कहीं ना कहीं उनकी जो powers है वो थोड़ी double हो गई हैं. The passage also discusses the political landscape when it comes to Andhra Pradesh, क्योंकि TDP belongs to Andhra Pradesh primarily, including also the dominance of Yuvajan Shramik Raithu ऐसे करके कुछ एक पार्टी का नाम है, कांग्रेस पार्टी, and also the potential impact of YS Sharmila's exit. So recently you guys must have seen this has made the headlines. YS Sharmila has exited from the party, and obviously the upcoming elections are around the corner. So yeah, this is kind of a very, I would say, the drastic move on part of the entire party. तो यहाँ पे यही बात होती है. So after reading this passage and after trying to understand this passage, what do you guys think? What could be the possible tone of this particular write-up? Any idea? So Avi has come up with his answer. And Avi, you are correct. The answer is investigative. Discontent, अभी हमने discuss किया था, discontent is when you are dissatisfied with the situation. But यहाँ पे ऐसा देख के हमें लगता नहीं है कि the writer is feeling dissatisfied about this particular issue. Distrustful, again, distrustful का मतलब होता है when you do not trust somebody. This has to do with being cynical, having trust issues. Again, trust issues was not really the topic of concern in this particular passage. Elated means something that brings you extreme happiness when you're super happy about something. Again, this was not something which was conveyed through the passage. So the only thing that comes to the mind is investigative or analytical. Investigative का मतलब ही होता है being analytical. So when the writer talks about the pros and cons of this amalgamation of these two parties, तो यही पता चलता है कि whether it's gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, I did not know that. I'm so sorry. My bad. I'll remember that. Okay. So moving to the next one. By the way, the title was really catchy. I don't know how many of you have heard this song before. Ra Ra Rasputin. I thought that the person who has written the title was really colorful क्योंकि title तो बहुत ही fun है. So it's Ra Ra Rasputin in the Russian election. Anybody who has read this article already? Title तो बहुत fun था. Even the article was actually very interesting and it was suffused with lots and lots of difficult words. And बहुत सारे words हमने जो आज discuss किए वो इसी particular article से ही लिए गए थे. So when I talk about Putin, not the song Rasputin, because Russian election में again कौन आने वाला है ऐसा लग रहा है? It's Putin or nothing, right? So in the upcoming Russian presidential election, Vladimir Putin is again expected to win easily. So we already know that, as there are no serious challengers. तो अगर हम contenders को ही देखें जो उनके खिलाफ हैं वो ही इतने weak हैं तो obviously who is going to end up winning? It's again going to be Ra Ra Rasputin, right? So this will be Putin's fifth term, just imagine. So he has been the president for 4 times, and this will be the fifth time. And obviously, this could he could potentially remain in power till 2036, as is predicted in the passage. Despite several criticisms, बहुत सारे accusations जो उन पे लगे हुए हैं, many undemocratic practices that he has performed, still his popularity remains untouched, as you can very well see. आने वाले समय में भी कौन जीतेगा? It seems like it's going to be Putin. So, as you can see, he remains popular because he kind of deals with certain issues, like when it comes to issues related to finance, when it comes to issues related to economy, and also his portrayal of Russia as a defender of traditional values against Western influence. तो कुछ चीजें जो उनके part of the propaganda है, that has actually gained a lot of popularity. तो उनमें ही ये सारी चीजें आ जाती हैं. And that's pretty much the summary of the passage. So, who's going to tell me what could be the tone of this passage? No, it's not really adaptable. Hi, Vivek. It's okay. I think you'll have to watch the session again. So, adaptable is when you are accommodating. Accommodating का मतलब क्या होता है? जब आप किसी चीज को tolerate कर लेते हो. ठीक है? So although part of the article might look like tolerating, it's more towards, I would say, astounded is when you are super surprised. अच्छा एक चीज समझो. Okay, so remember, okay, I would like all of you to actually read the article all over again. If you haven't already, please do that. And secondly, tone is something which is the dominant factor. So आपको बहुत सारे different tones दिखेंगी एक passage में. But the tone which is most dominant is basically your answer. ठीक है? So the answer is actually synthesizing, which is analytical, because we get to know about the positive sides and the negative sides of Putin government. And that's why the answer is synthesizing. This stands for analytical. Discerning means critical. So it's not completely. अच्छा रुको. The answer is critical, not analytical. My bad. क्योंकि the writer is being critical about Putin being the president for the fifth time. So it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. It's discerning. ठीक है? Discerning means when the writer is trying to be critical and as well as analytical. So B is the answer. Okay? I did not see this only. It means critical, remember that. And synthesizing means analytical. That's another word for analytical. Astounded when you are shocked and surprised by something and when you tolerate something. तो इसमें actually part of the reason was ये भी था, ये भी था. ठीक है? The writer looks quite okay with him being the president for the fifth time. तो ऐसा लगता है कि yeah, he's being tolerant. And kahin na kahin he sounds shocked also because this is the fifth time that he is going to be the leader. But the thing is, again, when you read the entire thing, you get to know that the writer is more towards the critical side of the wavelength. क्योंकि वो खुश इतना तो नहीं है क्योंकि Putin is coming for the fifth term. Salman, where exactly are you talking about that? EWS certificate? Oh, in MHCET LLB, of course. You should go ahead with that. That's incredible news. Congratulations. And the task of the day is right in front of you, looking to the future on Patrick's Day. By the way, it was a wonderful article. I don't know whether you guys have already read it, but please read it. It's a great article. It talks about St. Patrick's Day, which is obviously a famous holiday celebrated in the US. तो इसके बारे में I think US or UK, the entire place. ठीक है? So now please click a quick picture of the slide and do let me know about your answers in the chat box, in the comment box. And let's also talk about the previous quiz. तो अगर किसी ने वो article अभी तक नहीं पढ़ा है तो please go ahead and read it. And if you do not know the answer, by the way, of the previous quiz, it was excoriating. I already had discussed the meanings. So if you remember, excoriating is critical, right? So that was the answer for the previous quiz. I don't know how many of you have got it right. By the way, when you read this particular article, do let me know what could be the source of this article. Is it a factual document, a derogatory critique, or a fond recollection, or an optimistic reflection? ठीक है? Yes, Ireland. Oh yes, exactly, Ireland. I think वो leprechauns भी Irish characters ही है, right Avi? So leprechauns, I think, are also a part of Saint Patrick's Day. Patrick's Day. So yeah. So do let me know your answers in the comment box. And thank you so much for today's class, everyone, for your time, for your response. And that's it from my side. If there is any confusion, let me know, by the way. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Think about it. If you haven't understood anything, if you do not know the meaning of any of the words, let me know. You're welcome, Samiksha. You're welcome, Avi. You're welcome, Payoja. And you're welcome, Drishti. I hope you guys have a great weekend and please study. And if you're guys if you're writing your final exams, then all the very best. Thank you so much, everyone. Vivek, Aishwarya. Bye bye. See you again soon.